While Europe exports diverse goods to the US, Germany's car industry is key and now faces a harsh reality due to Trump's tariffs and a looming global recession. Germany, France, and Denmark are challenging US auto giants with new environmental and customs regulations, threatening the $1.5 trillion US industry and potentially undermining Trump's America First agenda. The possibility of reduced US auto exports has concerned the administration. Will this force a US auto industry transformation or a trade war? Can American companies adapt to Europe's eco-rules or face market loss? Is Europe right on climate, or is the US claim of unfair competition valid? Share your thoughts as we examine this major industry shift. The US auto industry, with its Detroit roots and giants like Ford and GM, once led the world. But Europe, especially Germany, now excels in auto tech, with France in design and Denmark in green policy. Their regulations now threaten the US market, seen by some as environmental, by others as trade war. Trump's protectionism and past tariff threats hinted at this. While EU-wide policy is unclear, Germany's EV push, France's domestic support, and Denmark's carbon rules hinder US competition. American large, high-fuel vehicles are disadvantaged and face new hurdles. Trump's past rhetoric aligns with his surprise. Germany's EV focus panics US manufacturers needing costly R&D. France favors local brands, worrying US automakers. Denmark's green goals challenge high-emission US cars. Tesla's European EVs contrast this. The US auto industry is cornered. This $1.5 trillion sector's potential impact is vast. Restrictions are resisted by US manufacturers. While some look elsewhere, Europe's importance remains. Lobbying seems unlikely given European environmentalism. Trump's surprise is complex, based on perceived leverage, LNG hopes, and the US lagging in green tech. It's unclear if Europe's moves are coordinated. A green bloc aims to end combustion engines by 2035, while the US lags, facing weaponized standards. Costly adaptation or market exit looms. This poses a dilemma for the US, potentially impacting domestic politics. Europe argues climate protection, not exclusion. Even European firms face these rules, but see long-term benefits. It's about climate action. US automakers lament unpreparedness. While full US auto industry paralysis isn't immediate, export decline is likely without change. The US could accelerate its green shift. Slow adaptation risks market closure, with similar rules in China, Japan. Trump's surprise has a diplomatic angle. Europe prioritizes its industry despite US expectations on NATO, indicating transatlantic strain. Germany and France lead EU policy, with Denmark as an environmental voice. Underestimating this could cost the US the European market. The long term is uncertain. If Europe's green policies succeed, they could lead. If the US clings to big cars, it risks markets. The US's tech strength offers future EV autonomous potential, but current moves put US manufacturers on defense. Trump's reaction, potentially tariffs, risks a trade war. Europe's environmental commitment is firm. EU bureaucracy supports this. Currently, Germany, France, and Denmark are hindering US auto exports, a strategy involving tech, environment, and cost. The US auto industry is alarmed. Trump's surprise may be political, but business panic is real. The costly, time-consuming EV shift for large vehicle producers makes them vulnerable. German and French brands can advance in clean vehicles. An unprepared US market risks domestic and export gaps. In summary, while US auto industry paralyzed seems extreme, significant losses in Europe are likely without US adaptation. Trump's surprise at Europe's green stance is key. This could become a stronger barrier. US auto giants face a challenge. What's the future? US-EU negotiations are possible. A US focus on domestic Asian markets could occur. Time will tell. These moves have resonated widely. As Europe's auto landscape changes, the US faces adjustment. What do you think? Will Europe's green moves paralyze the US auto industry, or will American giants adapt? Was Trump's surprise a tactic? Share your thoughts. Subscribe for more insights on industry and trade.